Yeah, they can see it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Yes. I drove back from Chicago today.
Did you really?
You know, and
at least I just came from Brian's.
And Laura was like, "How are you going to have the energy to watch this movie?" And I was like, "It's just a movie. And besides,
it's a war movie too.
It's a war movie. Oh, it's kind of my thing. Cool. I'll see it." Long. It was so long.
I want to know how much of that movie Joel and Ethan Cohen wrote.
And why they agreed to keep their names on it.
Because fuck me, I would not be surprised if the only thing in that movie they wrote was just the part at the end where it says co-written by Joel and Ethan Cohen.
That's the thing they signed off on.
What the fuck? Was this originally written as a comedy and they just played it straight?
Right, yeah, it was actually a quirky, fun comedy like that.
Fuck me, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know where to this movie sucks.
This was terrible. This was genuinely, it was, okay, so, all right, so...
I'm gonna take the wide angle off because it's blurring up.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Oh, God, okay, there we go. Okay, so, it's actually based on an actual guy...
Yeah.
...who was a real Olympic athlete, was really captured by the Japanese during World War II, and really spent time in an internment camp.
Yeah.
So, that's the part that is all true. And that's the most positive thing I can say about the film.
I can say a few positive things about it.
It was very well shot. It was very well.
It honestly was. I can tell that.
Beautiful. The cinematographer, whose name escapes me at the moment, is really renowned, great cinematographer. Shot digitally. This was a big new thing for him. Production design was very good. Always for these World War II movies.
You can tell that Angelina Jolie has been in some Clint Eastwood movies because it looks exactly like a Clint Eastwood film.
Yeah,
like a Clint Eastwood war movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It does. I honestly Angelina Jolie is a director. In some sequences, I think she's got an eye for shooting some action scenes. The best scene in the movie was the opening scene, where it was the action sequence up in the plane.
Right, that you're right. You know what? That was riveting.
And then it goes downhill from there.
And then that never happens again. It never happens again.
So I think she has an eye as a director. I honestly do. She just does not have a knack for character, storytelling, anything like that. And when I sat there in this movie, I was like, at first I was like, how am I going to review this? Because it's like, this is a real guy.
Right, we can't be like, oh, screw this guy. No, he was a real guy. He really did this. And he devoted his life to helping people and being a wonderful person for the rest of his life. And he passed away this year before the movie came out. So it's hard to get too mean or anything.
Well, you can.
But the movie was just most of this movie is just him getting the ever-loving shit beat out of him.
This movie is just, I was thinking in the theater, it's like, wow, how do I review this without being disrespectful? But the fact of the matter is you know what? They should have made a better fucking movie.
Yeah.
If they had made, it's more disrespectful that they made a shitty movie about it than it is for me to say it's a shitty movie. Mm-hmm. It's a shitty fucking movie. I shouldn't be the asshole because I'm calling it a shitty movie.
Right, no,
the asshole should be the people who fucking wrote the goddamn thing.
It's a bad movie, and it doesn't do this guy who clearly is an amazing, wonderful, inspirational human being. It does him a huge disservice.
Yeah, because I know nothing about him. I know, you're right. Other than he can take a beating.
He can get the shit beat out of him, and he'll come through it okay. That's it. Yeah. That's the only thing you learn about him.
Passion of the Christ got away with that because everybody knows who Jesus is.
Right, that's what I said to you earlier.
Yeah.
It's like Jim Caviezel had less horrible shit
the
happen
JC,
to him.
yeah. You're right.
In Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. So, everyone at least knows who Jesus is. Everyone goes into the Passion of the Christ knowing, okay, the Passion of the Christ is a front and back a movie about a guy getting beaten for 2 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
We all know who Jesus is.
We're
All right,
familiar with him, yes.
you can go see that movie. Yeah, having
Right.
read the book.
I read the book.
This movie needs character development.
A
I'm
lot,
sorry.
okay, yeah, and they try to spice it in there, but it's really just he was a troubled kid, but he liked to run.
They dropped the ball on so much shit in that. Like,
Right.
I know nothing about this guy other than like when he was
doesn't
a
like
kid.
being called racist Italian names.
Wop, Dago,
Right, yeah.
all of that.
When you call him
And,
that, he runs faster.
like,
That's what
it
happens.
briefly flashes back on stuff, and it's okay. Let me put it to you like this: it would be like if in Forrest Gump he learns that he can run really fast, and then it cuts to Nam.
And then it's all nom. Yeah. And it's,
like that.
yeah.
Just screw any kind of development we
Right.
have here. Like, there are no scenes with him and his dad, other than the scene of his dad spanking him for being bad.
Right.
That's it.
Right,
Which is,
right.
I'm guessing, is the only reason why we got the 50 Shades of Grey trailer in front of this.
It all fits together now.
Like,
Oh,
you
shit.
see scenes later on of his dad, like, worried about him when he's at war, and I'm like, the only thing I saw of these two's relationship was him beating him.
Beating him, yeah.
For the kid, like, drinking, so I guess he was a kid with a drinking problem? I don't know, they don't touch on that.
No, they just say that he, the police officer who respects his father, which we never find out why.
Why? Why?
Yeah, because they drag him in. He says the only reason the whole town wants you in jail, but the only reason we're not taking you to jail is the respect we have for your parents, which they never say why the parents are respecting.
And yet they're racist towards the kid? I don't
Right, the
know.
rest of the town is all racist.
There's just chunks missing here, and all of the dialogue in this movie, every single piece of dialogue in this movie is just, you can do it, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's it. That is every single piece of dialogue in this film. This movie should just be called You Can Do It, Man, the movie. That's it. The only time we see him and his brother talk is just him giving him Uncle Ben advice to be a runner.
Did you see that, like, his brother, when they were younger, had that very specific brown vest and
Yeah.
And then the instant you see his brother as an adult, he's wearing the exact same outfit. Did you notice that?
Jesus Christ,
Did you
that way
notice
we
that?
know it's him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because we have no other development. I
Other
don't even
than
know what
what
his
he
name
wears.
is.
No, neither do I. I
It's
don't know what his fucking name
it's like
is.
Paul or something. I don't know anything.
The only time, first of all, the main character in this movie barely has any dialogue, and every time he has dialogue in this movie, it is entirely made up of I can do this, don't give up, or the little, like, fortune cookie Uncle Ben lines. There's not there's barely a single conversation anyone has in this film.
Right.
It's not between him and his brother,
Never.
because all it is then is him saying, is the little kid going like, I'm going to amount to nothing. I'm going to be a loser. No, you're not, man. I can see you. You can run, man.
That's right. If
Just
you can,
run.
If you can take it, you can make it.
If you can take it, you can make it. Just that over and over again.
Over and
Just
over again.
over and over for 2.5 hours.
and like-
For 2.5 hours. That's it.
And it's...
Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS has more character development than this movie.
Well, see, because the thing is, it's all supposed to be a prestige piece. The whole point of this movie is supposed to be...
It's not a bad-looking movie.
Look at this badass guy who took everything the most evil of the world could take at him, and he came through it. The thing is, other than I was told I was supposed to like this guy before I started watching the movie...
Yeah, he doesn't...
There's no reason to like him.
Other than that's who the movie is following.
He's the main
movie
character.
could have easily followed the other guy who was on that raft.
Right.
Easily.
And that's another
it just
piece.
is just about him.
There's so many different movies that are there. You know, there's the survival at sea movie. There's the prison camp movie. There's
it did turn into a halfway decent shark movie.
Well, you know what I was going to say? They kill like 4 or 5 sharks. And I told you at one point, I was like, if they kill any more sharks, they're going to be rivaling Sharknado. And I take issue with that.
Not one of them killed one with a trident.
Damn right they did.
So there's still that. It does turn into a halfway decent shark film for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, for this brief tiny period of time. Yeah, there is a tiny bit of a little shark movie. But like, But
Shit.
The pacing was just so slow, and like there was no. I never. So I knew because I read some synopsises and stuff that they were stuck at sea for 45 days, right?
Yeah.
So the sequence, the plane crashes, they're on the raft. Then there's a whole bunch of sequences of them trying to survive, and the young guy ate all the food, but now they're mad at him, and then they kill a bird, and then they do this stuff, and they get sick, and then oh god, this thing happens, and then they fall asleep. And then they wake up, and I was like, okay, so now it's going to be like 45 days later.
No. They want you to feel that 45 days,
it felt like 45 days.
They want you to feel every day of that.
Day 3, and I'm like, shit.
God.
And then then another long-ass sequence about them fighting sharks and are doing something else, and then they go to sleep, and it comes back, and it's like, oh, well, now it'll be, day 18.
And all anybody can grow in this movie is like a bushy goatee.
That's right, yeah.
Did you notice that, too?
Nobody had any, they were very well shaped. You see, the thing is that, well, little known fact about in the 1940s life rafts, they didn't have a lot of food, but they had fabulous manicure kits.
Apparently. I spent a lot of this movie because my mind was wandering a lot.
Oh, God,
And one of the things it was wandering about was like, why are they so well groomed?
They're very well groomed.
Like their hair,
in the prison camp when they're just like, they've been beaten for days, and like, they have no food, and they're talking about how they, all they have is shit, and they don't have any food, but they all very well, or clean shaven, completely clean shaven.
Oh yeah. This is one of those movies where, and you hit on it a second ago, it is one of those movies where I couldn't tell when it was nearing the end. So it was one of those flicks where I was just waiting for stuff from the trailer to happen.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, okay, where's the part where he lifts the board over his head? That hasn't happened yet. This movie feels like it's been on for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
When is that going to fucking happen?
Right.
And again, it's just one of those things that just happens in the movie.
Happens, yeah.
It's just because he's the main character and the guy in charge of the camp hates him for reasons like I don't know. No one in this movie.
Well, see what I thought they were going to touch on, or like somehow, but I mean, obviously it's a real, these are real people.
Yeah.
But like they kind of hinted at like there was a connection between him and like a couple of the Japanese athletes at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like maybe there was going to be a connection. Like maybe that guy was that athlete. But it wasn't. It wasn't the same actor. So it's like, well, maybe he's not. Well, maybe he's related to him. Right? Maybe there's some reason why. For it, the only thing they minorly touched on why is at the end when he staggers into his room and he's got the little cane sitting there. There's the picture of the old Japanese soldier with the young boy.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like, oh, well, that's why he was, he had daddy issues.
I would have liked to have seen more of that in this movie. Or, also a better actor, because that guy was horrible. That guy played this part as if he's a school bully in a high school film.
Yeah.
He is this close to saying, like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
He says, why are you looking at me? That's what he says. He says, why are you looking at me? And then he hits him, and then he says, why are you looking at me?
And he's not intimidated. He looks 12.
Yeah.
And he looks like James Spader in Less Than Zero, but not as scary.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
he maybe that's why it showed the kid bullied at the beginning of the movie, because that's what this guy acts like in the camp.
Right.
Is just like the stereotypical high school bully. I wasn't looking at him like the villain in a war movie. No. I looked at him as if like, okay, I've seen this high school movie. It's going to end with him getting kicked in the nuts, and then the main guy's going to steal his girl.
Right. And
like
right off in a convertible.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That's how it's going to end.
No. Like there's so many times in this movie where it's him looking up and then it fades off to like clouds, and then some other long thing happens. Mm-hmm. So finally, like the war's over and he's rescued, and the final ending is like it pans up to clouds, and we were both squirming in our seats. I can see you over there. We're just the thought in my head was, oh please, sweet baby Jesus, let this be the end, and it sort of was, but then it was like a 5-minute sequence of them getting back together and like, oh, it's you, thank God, yeah.
For a movie that went on forever, it did end kind of abruptly.
And then just ends, yeah.
Like, I didn't know who those women were standing with him.
I think those were supposed to be his sisters. Because you see them in the family. Those are like his sisters, but they don't have names.
No.
Well, and his brother has a name, but I don't know his name because he's the guy with the hat and the yellow vest, right? It's the same one when he was a kid.
This movie is so bad with characters. For all I knew, he was fucking married.
Right.
Like, for all I knew, that one of those was his wife at the end until the title card at the end.
Right, and then it shows the actual pictures of him and says, and this was his wife that he married in
the title
1946.
cards at the end are talking about, like, he learned forgiveness and talked to some of his, and worked it out with some of his old Japanese captors.
Right.
Man, that would have made a far better fucking movie.
Yes.
Like, that would have actually...
Yes. Actually, yeah, that would have been
honestly,
really,
this could have made a fine movie had it had characters and actual fucking dialogue and conversations in it.
The thing is that all of this shit happened to him.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean, not great, but I mean, no.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, no. All this shit happened to him.
Yeah.
So, okay, so why don't we focus on one event? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was beaten up as a kid, but he persevered. Yeah, he didn't succeed at first as an Olympian, but then he persevered. He didn't succeed in the army, but then he persevered. He was in the boat, and the boat was was on there, but he persevered. Then he was okay, let's pick one. Let's pick one of those things, and then focus just on it, and then get to know the people around him. Like really,
my God,
actually talk to those characters and figure out like why
they were just stock characters.
They were stock characters.
The only thing that differentiated them was that some of them have an accent. That's
right. One of them always wore a hat. So like he was like the commander guy.
Yeah.
So it was the commander that always wore a hat, and then there were a couple other stock characters that like were kind of his friends because they like say things to him.
Yeah.
Or like ask him, "Hey, are you okay?" But who?
He never talks to any of them.
No, he never responds to them. That's true. They're all in like different stages of being completely filthy. So you can't really tell them apart.
No, not really. No.
And there's nothing given to them to distinguish them.
I think that you could have done like the movie in acts, like him as a runner, him like stranded out at sea, and him at the POW camp. You could have certainly done that just with characters, dialogue, supporting characters. Because Forrest Gump has like 12 different things going on in it, and it has character. It has like.
But I know so much about Forrest that I like him.
No, you're exactly right.
And I
that's
want
the
to
thing.
see him in all these situations.
You're exactly right. And a movie like this could have, if it had been written like that, it could have been fine with the acts it has, except for like not showing the running thing in flashbacks. No, because I don't even know. Suddenly he's a runner and suddenly he's a soldier. Like there's no.
Right.
It would be like Forrest Gump is a football player, and then
he's in Nam.
And then Lieutenant Dan is yelling at him.
Yeah.
Okay, why did he join? All right, I guess he's a soldier now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh.
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
I don't remember. I really don't. I just, because again, you get a real guy. And real people actually went through this, and that's, you don't want to be like, oh, this is just terrible,
Yeah.
but at the same time, what a disservice to them that instead of watching them and caring so much about them and being like, God, the way these guys are persevering and then pulling through in these horrible circumstances, it's not. It's just, okay, now he's going to get beat up again, but he's going to stand back up.
And then he's for 2.5
And then he's going to get beat up again and whacked in the face with that bamboo stick like 6 times in the face, and then he's going to fall down.
And then he's going to get back up.
He's going to get back up.
Hours.
And is he going to say something pithy or no, he's not going to say a damn thing. He's just going to keep getting hit and get back up. Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
It's not a movie about people. It's a movie about things happening.
A lot of shit happens.
This is a things happening movie.
It's plot. It's nothing but plot.
That's exactly all it is.
There is only plot. There's no story.
I mean, I hate, in terms of how this movie is written with the people in it and the characters it has, it's pretty much the fucking Man of Steel of war movies. Shit. I really did not enjoy this at all.
I did not either.
I so didn't. You were telling me about how like they've tried adapting this before.
Yeah.
In the 50s.
In the 50s for Tony Curtis.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. That I think it was Universal is what I read.
I would have loved seeing that.
Yeah.
Tony Curtis in a story like this, or in the 90s. Nick Cage. Yeah,
right,
definitely.
yeah.
I could have seen that. Absolutely. Anyone could have made this movie so much better than this.
Yeah. Oh, man, no.
I don't even know why are the Cohen Brothers names on? Did the Cohen Brothers write the draft from the 90s and some of that survived into this film?
But even if they did, it just seems like they do characters.
That's what I don't get. What did they write in this thing?
They do characters that are like entertaining and fun, and
there are 2 out of like 6 names that were on
there's
the
a lot
end
of writers that are
thing.
and I forget exactly.
This movie left me really confused for that reason.
Yeah.
Everything else I get.
Yeah,
but
he got beat up a lot. That I get. It's really hard not to get that. It's just he gets beat up a lot. It's not, there's not, other than his brother saying, if you can take it, you can make it, there's no, like, grand inspirational thing. No. There's no, like, thing he's going for, other than my brother said I could take it. And that's it. And again, yes, he's a real guy, and maybe that's his actual mantra.
Maybe this is literally how it happened. I don't know. But every piece of dialogue in this is exactly like if in the Spider-Man movies, all Uncle Ben ever said to Peter Parker was, with great power comes great responsibility.
Like every time he sees him.
Yeah.
Like, he's going off to school. With great power, great responsibility.
I get it.
Oh, God, I get it, yeah.
God damn it. Fortune cookie ass dialogue.
Yeah, they're they try at it, like, a little bit when they're, like, on the raft.
A little. There's like a couple of scenes
where like they're trying to keep their minds off starvation and death, and like he's talking about his mother's cooking, but like the other guy interrupts him real fast.
That's the only time a conversation comes up in this movie is if they don't have a conversation, it will kill them.
Right? Yeah. And then the guy interrupts him real quick and says, "Am I gonna die?" And then they go,
"Maybe,
yeah, maybe." And then he goes, "Tonight." And then it's that probably. And then he dies.
Dead.
Dead.
Just feed him to the sharks.
I was waiting for the sharks to come hit that body too, which is what I was. Because I was like, that'd be interesting.
I was sitting there like, you know what movie I should be watching right now? Open Water.
Open Water, yeah, yeah. I did love where the Japanese plane strafes their raft. Shoots
that was a good scene. Yeah, because
and it shoots the shark.
That was
the shark.
The shark gets shot in the background and shit like that. Like honestly, yeah, Angelina Jolie does her action sequences quite well in this movie. What little of them there are.
But right.
Jai Courtney is in this movie for no reason, really. Like I didn't even know he was in it until he popped up.
Right, yeah.
And because he popped up in the movie, I thought like, okay, I guess he's probably going to be in this for a while.
Nope.
No, he dies like when the plane crashes into the water.
Yep.
Why was he there?
He was just there, I guess. Yeah. Oh Lord.
I so don't recommend this.
I don't either.
I absolutely don't. I don't recommend this movie.
No. Don't waste your time. This is going to be one of those ones that for some reason people in Hollywood are just going to rave about it just because of the names attached to it. My prediction is that there's going to be a lot of nominations.
So far, it hasn't gotten any.
Hopefully, it will get. No, it already got like a Critics' Choice Award nomination.
Did it really?
Yeah, it's already starting to pull some nominations for Best Picture and Best Director and Best Performance.
I know the reviews are fucking mixed.
And the reviews are mixed because, like I said, this is one of those Hollywood, prestige things of just because of the names attached to it. There are a lot of people who are going to kiss major ass to this film,
and because it's not a bad looking movie.
It is again. It's a very nice looking film.
Yeah.
The people who were working on it were good. Mm-hmm. It's just it was not a good script.
No, this totally fails at the script level.
And that's the problem is because when you don't have good characters that are compelling, other than I just know that he's compelling. And that's the worst way to have any type of a script.
Well, and the main guy in the movie, I thought that was a cop.
I thought it was too. It flashed by stuff.
Well, the main guy in the movie, like, I'm sure if they wrote him, like, enough good dialogue, had a good enough character for him to play, like, he probably could have been fine, but he's an actor who, he doesn't have any kind of gravitas on screen that he could have just carried a movie like this on charisma alone.
No.
Without any of that, he's bland as fuck. Oh my god.
I actually sometimes I had trouble picking him out from the other actors.
Honestly, so did I.
You know, when they're all standing, because there's so many of all the prisoners standing in a row shots.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there are so many of those shots in this movie. And a lot of times, it's like, wait, which one was he? Wait, was that him? Oh shit. No,
I had trouble with that on the raft, and there was only 3 of them. And one of them was blonde.
One of them was blonde, so it was, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
If it weren't for all the religious movies this year, this would probably be on my list of the worst movies of the year. God came down and saved this movie from ending up on
there you go, prayers.
Like, it wouldn't be number 1, but it would be like...
No, because... you're right. I mean, you know, if you could take the action sequence... The little opening action sequence.
That was surprisingly well done. I was sitting there like, wow, Angelina Jolie directed that?
Yeah, it was like that was pretty well done because it was kind of from his point of view. So it wasn't like a full on, you know, watching a full battle. It was kind of his point of view as he's running back and forth in the plane, and he can kind of catch a glimpse of the fighter as it flies underneath.
And there was no soundtrack either.
Yeah,
like in terms of musical
so you could hear like all you could hear was which gun was shooting at what time. So he'd see that, and then he'd look out a part of the plane and he'd see the other fighter fly by, or it'd come and it'd shoot at him and it'd hit. You know, you'd see it hit nearby, and like that was cool. That was interesting.
It's the only part of the movie that's like that.
And that's
except when the raft gets shot.
And then the raft gets shot. That's like 2 minutes.
Yes, it's like 2 minutes. That was the second best scene.
That was the second best scene in the movie. It was like 2 minutes. It's just
we walked out of this theater, man, and there was a decent enough crowd in there.
Yeah,
apparently the movie's doing fairly well this weekend, but it was a lot of older people in there seeing it, and the first thing that I heard when it came out was some dude just like, "Oh, that was long." With the audience that we had in there, I honestly thought they were probably eating this shit up, but
somebody clapped at the end.
Oh, right, you're right. There was clapping at the end of this.
Clapped at the end of the movie.
Every time I hear,
they can't hear you. Like they're not like behind the screen.
Every time I hear clapping at any movie I go to here, the movie sucks.
Yeah. It's people who don't realize that they're not behind there. That's not a sheet.
Whee!
Good job back there. We loved it. We're waiting for
every
thank you. You know,
every Transformers movie I've been to, the audience has clapped. Every Star Wars movie, like the big midnights, like the event midnights, like that'll happen. What else? Like, it's always something I think Boondock Saints 2.
Oh man.
Fucking really?
No, but like maybe, you know, some super high octane adrenaline.
Adrenaline, you're there in the moment, like
this was not that movie.
No. Oh.
There was a vice grip being slowly twisted on my head, and finally it was released. And then finally it was released. It wasn't like, yay, what an awesome movie. It was, oh god, the pressure on my friggin' skull is gone. I can stand up and leave this horrible prison. Wait, is there a Japanese man who's gonna beat me on my way out? Because that sounds like...
If a Japanese guy comes running up behind you with the whops on the back with bamboo and just continues running outside.
You know,
what the fuck?
Oh god. It's gonna happen to me someday.
And somehow it's gonna have something to do with Jake.
It's gonna have something
somehow. This is for laughing at me for seeing Annie by myself. Why is he mad at us? He should be hitting Brian with a bamboo stick. All we did was just peek in the theater and laugh at him.
Oh Lord.
I pretty much said my final thoughts, I think. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just, it was not...
If you want to go see a war movie, watch Fury.
Fury, right.
It was a far better movie than this.
Because Fury like did respect to the whole idea of this is what these guys actually went through, but still made it entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
And then also the major thing of that was it focused on the 5 guys.
Oh, totally.
That was it. There's only 5 of them, and even though they're all wearing the same uniforms,
you knew
who they were, and every time you saw them, you're like, I know who that is.
Oh yeah,
I know who that is.
I know what this guy is about.
Right.
I know what that guy is about.
Absolutely.
I know the backstory of all
Right.
these guys without there being needing to be flashbacks.
And even with like them being, not even like the most saintly characters,
Yeah.
I still cared about them.
Oh, God,
I still wanted to see them succeed, and it was
there was charisma there.
there was, and it's just So
Honestly, if you want to see a movie that's like not unlike this, watch like Rescue Dawn.
yeah.
The Christian Bale, Steve Zahn one. Watch that.
Really?
Or watch, if you want an older one, watch like Stalag 17. Watch, those are far better movies.
Yeah.
Fucking better.
This was just long. It felt so long and bad. That's it. Just long.
I would
and bad.
probably rather watch Exodus again, honestly.
Actually, yeah. I'd rather if you
That wasn't good.
Oh man.
Did you go see that?
No.
Well, the way you said, yeah, I'd rather watch that too. I was like,
No,
did you go see
I
that?
would rather be initially subjected to that than I would see this movie again.
You probably would, because at least Exodus wasn't very good, but at least it had 8-year-old temper tantrum godchild in it.
Right, that I would be.
Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
All right. Well, we're catching up on the stuff that came out during the holidays, so we'll be back probably within a couple of days or so, because there's still The Gambler and Into the Woods and stuff like that. So you'll see us again soon.
All right.
Later.